Hey, what's up? This is Daigle from MetalsPeak.com, and this is my review of Illud Divinum Insanus, Morbid Angel's new album. First off, let me just mention that I'm probably not your typical Morbid Angel fan. The first album that I got was Gateways to Annihilation, and then I picked up Altars of Madness sometime later. I also bought Heretic, and I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. But I don't really have much reference to the B through F albums, so just keep that in mind as you watch my review. That's probably going to play a part here. Anyway, so Brutality, I'm giving this thing an 8. I refuse to believe that diehard Morbid Angel fans can't find any enjoyment in this whatsoever, even if it's only a small amount. Tracks like 10 More Dead, Blades for Baal, and Nevermore are unquestionably Morbid Angel, and there's plenty of brutality to be had. The presence of Radicult, however, does ding a couple points for me. I don't hate it, but let's just say that if this album were a chain, that would be the first link to go to shit. But I think there's a lot of sonic devastation happening here. I think that some people might just listen to the first 2 tracks and then write the whole album off, which is unfortunate. You're doing yourself a disservice by not listening to the whole thing. Okay, so songwriting. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. There's a much more traditional, formulaic approach, and I like it. So they're trying something new. Big deal. There's a fine line between what a band owes its fans and what it doesn't. And when it comes to actual songwriting, I believe a band has to write the music that they want to write. Otherwise, it's just not fulfilling. This actually reminds me of something that Mike Martin from All That Remains said in a recent interview I heard on the Alloy podcast. How a band almost has to reinvent themselves on every album because fans' attention spans are so short anymore. I can't say for sure that's what Morbid Angel was going for here, but it's kind of what I've made of it. I'd say about half the album is uncharted territory, but the other half should make any Morbid Angel fan happy. Highlights for me were Existo, Vulgore, the guitar solo in Beauty Meets Beast, which is phenomenal. The song structure in I Am Morbid, it really has that traditional kind of verse, pre-chorus, chorus format. I just think it's super solid. It came out great. And then 10 More Dead, particularly the intro riffs. I love that whole song, but the intro riffs are just sick. In fact, I'm just going to play a little bit of it real quick. How can you not like that? Holy shit. I just love that riff. It works so well in the chorus, too. It's that was, I think, the first riff that really caught my attention, so really love that. Anyway, I will say that some of the songs seem to drag on for a while, like the intro, Omnipotens, and Radicult. Even though the last minute and a half is just instrumental, the rest of it is just it's just a little too much for me. I'm still just not able to get into it. But all in all, I think the songwriting is very mature and solid. Okay, production, going 8 out of 10. This actually reminds me of when we talked to Justin Gosnell from Vest Ascension. He was talking about how so many bands these days seem to be trying to sound the same. He specifically referenced Periphery's sound and the notion that so many studios seem to be constantly kind of comparing what they're doing to Periphery and then just tweaking it until it sounds identical. So in that respect, tracks like Too Extreme and Profundus Mea Culpa are kind of a breath of fresh air. How's that for a positive spin? My only real complaint is in the mastering. The guitars just seem a little too buried, kind of quiet. They're just not as upfront as I normally like, but I like the guitar tone. It's a little different, but I like it. Repeat listenability. I'm actually giving this 10 out of 10 because I feel like there's kind of a lot of new stuff happening. I feel like I can just keep listening to it over and over and keep finding new stuff. In fact, I just listened to it for the 5th time today, and it was the first time that I'd heard there's sort of screaming victims happening in the chorus in 10 More Dead. So anyway, I'm looking forward to listening to this more and more and finding more stuff like that. Okay, artwork and layout, I'm going 7 out of 10. Like, the cover art is interesting. The liner notes are very basic though, nothing special. I will say that I've seen several comments kind of comparing this to Metallica and the Load album, and I'll say that if you remember, that's when Metallica changed their logo from the, you know, total metal logo to the gentle, soft Metallica logo. And I'll say at least the logo hasn't changed. So there you go. So overall, this is getting an 8.4 out of 10 from me. I'm all but convinced that if this album was released by a new band that nobody had ever heard of, it would be acclaimed and praised as groundbreaking. So it seems a little ridiculous to hate it just because Morbid Angel is the band that released it. You know, again, maybe it's because I don't have as much reference as hardcore Morbid Angel fans, but I really think that the majority of the songs here are very solid. I just don't find all the things that people are hating about it. In fact, I saw something, I think on Facebook or something, somebody said that the new Morbid Angel sounds like Justin Bieber, and I'm thinking that's a little too far. But you know, I realized I've never really heard Justin Bieber, so I thought what we would do real quick is I'm just gonna Google real quick. I'm gonna find some Justin Bieber, and we're just gonna kind of compare the two and find out what we find out. Okay, so I just went to YouTube and Justin Bieber, and this is something called Baby, so we're gonna check it out here.
You know you love me, I know you care, just shout whenever.
Okay. Okay, so here's Nevermore from the new Morbid Angel album. Huh. Well, I'm speechless. It does sound like Justin Bieber. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I bet if I didn't cue those up, you wouldn't have known what I was playing just there. They sound identical. So, whoever made that comment was spot on. Thank Christ for his keen sense of hearing. It's awesome. Okay.